after this.
Mm-hmm.
And Lagwyn, you confuse me. New puzzles. I have to go.
Oh, you're gonna notice your achievement points drop by like 1,000, and your world completion's gonna go down to 99% because they added new points. It's gonna go down to 99.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna go to lunch after this, and then I'm pretty sure by the time I get back, you guys will be in bed. But Stefan and I will probably be on. But who's gonna be on for the Lions Arch thingy?
I have a appointment at 3 o'clock that I have to be home for, so I'm leaving work.
Good job. Good job. Naveen,
Yes.
are you gonna be on?
Maybe. I don't know.
No, you can't miss another one.
How long?
I don't know. Maybe a couple hours? It's Defend Lions Arch, isn't it?
Yeah, it's at 3 p.m. our time, Naveen.
Oh, I thought you were talking about after the podcast. No, yeah, of course, tomorrow I'll be there. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Alright, because I have to get up at 3 a.m. to do that, and I don't want to be by myself.
Okay, that's cool.
It's gonna be 4 a.m. for you, Kaysee. You get an extra hour.
Yeah, because 3 a.m. feels like the middle of the night. 4 a.m. at least feels a bit like morning. Just a little bit more like morning.
Are you being serious? I don't know.
I'm being serious.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 4 o'clock, the sun's about to come up soon. I don't know about winter time, but hers the summer, so I don't know. Seasons
Yeah,
confuse
it
me.
should be a lot better.
So whenever you guys are ready, we've got people in the chat room. So cold here in Canada.
Why haven't you got a jumper on?
No. I'm just gonna shiver until I'm not cold anymore.
Sorry, I'm too busy. I'm absorbed in consortium chest creation.
Too busy with my chest. Too busy with my chest. They drop loot. That's rare. I'm too busy making
The
gold.
mini pets.
Too busy. What?
The mini pets are worth 30 gold in climbing that you get out of those things.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
Damn it, Lag.
Casey's renovating right now.
Feeding my addiction to this game.
I know.
I
Am
told
I
Stefan,
gonna
I'm
be
like,
the-
oh, they've got new chests in the thingy. I bet Lag's gonna buy some. He's like, you want money, don't you? I'm like, yes.
Well, you don't have to buy keys. You just buy the chests, and then the chests open. So.
Yep. So, let's get ready to rumble. And I'm switching. Hello, everyone. Nice background we have, right?
Hello.
I didn't upload on mine for me to see. Ah, hey, there it is. Yeah.
See? That's me. That's Kaysee. And that's Lag, the branch.
That's right.
And Lag is just
Sorry.
really preoccupied.
Everyone, if I'm slightly distracted.
So you know why we're
He's a bit
kind of
excited.
late.
Like a boy
More than-
next time.
I'm trying to figure out. Oh my God! You can buy 20 slot bags with the tokens from the new dungeon.
Really?
And obsidian shards. 15
Nice.
tokens from the new dungeon gets you
Yes.
an obsidian shard.
That's good.
That's right for all you dungeony people. Let's see. Prototype fractal capacitor. Or capacitor, rather. That looks to be the back slot item. Gift of Ascension. 500 tokens. Makes sense. 250 Oh, I don't even know what this is. 20-slot fractal exotic equipment bag, or equipment box. 250 tokens, 200 for the rare, and 150 for the uncommon. Simple infusion, 225. Or versatile simple infusion, 225. Simple infusion, 75. Dessa's experiment journal, 35. Obsidian shards, 15. Yes, I was right. The fractal capacitor is the back slot item. Wow, that's good stats, man. Sorry, everybody. All updates and things. I don't even know if there's anybody in the chat because I'm too busy looking at other stuff.
Yeah, there's more people going in, and they're just listening to you. You know, there's no point in looking at COT weekly because Lagwyn's explaining everything right now.
Well, I mean, this is how I keep my. I have to keep myself. This is how I work. I have to, constantly be up to date on all the news so that it's ready to go for the next week. Mm-hmm. So there's a logic. Sure, let's go with that.
Has everyone seen the PC Gamer trailer?
Yes. No. Yes. Maybe. The previews for the in the dungeon.
Yeah, about the fractals of the mist and the Kaka and getting sacrificed by Gruul. Did you see that bit?
No.
Naveen.
Maybe I can stream it. Wait. PC Gamer. Do you have a link? No. PC Gamer?
Okay.
Getting it now.
Okay.
So now I know what those boxes I was talking about. The exotic, rare, and uncommon boxes. They're 20-slot items, but if they're the exotic box, it automatically will put any exotic items you get into that box as soon as you pick them up. That Dessa's experimental journal for 35 tokens, you could just consume it, gives you a skill point. Cool. So, I mean, that's an infinite number of skill points you can just farm. I mean, each dungeon run will be roughly 2 skill points.
Oh, let me put myself on busy in Skype. Okay. Oh, you gave me that?
Wow.
I can't switch to it, though.
I put it in the chat, Twitch TV chat room then.
Thank you. Thank you. Alright. Let's see if I can do that. I'll try to... Oh, wait. Like this. Like this. Sorry, people.
You can do it.
I'm not super tech savvy, but this is it. Screen region. There we go. Boop. And there.
This is Lion's Arch, the central hub of Guild Wars 2. Right now,
looks
quiet,
like it's working.
Peaceful, prosperous. This is what it's going to be like this weekend. Welcome to the Lost Shores, a one-time weekend event that all players will be able to take part in. It kicks off this Friday with the attack of these scaled monstrosities, the Kaka. They look hard, they hit harder. Everyone will be boosted to level 80 to fight them, and they're still going to do some serious damage. With their shells evolved to protect themselves from the pressures at the bottom of the sea, your weapons are going to need a little help. After seeing off this invasion, as sparked by a new group called the Consortium poking where they shouldn't, the hunt is on for a way to weaken their shells and drive them away for good. Having proven that they bleed and we can kill them, the obvious next step is to give them a taste of their own medicine, invading their home in the Sea of Sorrows. This weekend-long campaign isn't just about monster hunting, but taming the land. There's a new crafting resource called Passive Fruit to find, and as the quests continue, you'll see the Tyrians establish outposts and build their roads.
Ooh.
Sorry to any Sylvari players, but you'll be seeing a lot of deforestation. You'll also see this cool new effect when fighting the Karka, that as you hit them, their shells break, giving you some live feedback during the fight. The real goal of the weekend, though, is to deal with the Karka threat once and for all, or at least, for now. This will culminate in one big event on Sunday, when players from all over Tyria are called together to...
Oh, no.
Lost Shores also opens up a new dungeon called the Fractals of the Mists. When you enter with your group, you'll be sent through 3 mini-challenges, then get a break, then get
I
3
love the
more.
fact that, they're going to be building things for the first time while we're there.
It's getting harder and harder every time you go through. These aren't simply tank and spank encounters. In the swamp, for instance, you'll have to retrieve 3 wisps, and then get them across this trap-filled map with near-perfect synchronicity. In this Indiana Jones-style volcano world, you'll find yourself running from big rolling rocks, and seeing off slavers looking to sacrifice people for power. Every world has its own unique style, but they'll all end up here, in the solid Jade Ocean, where the Jade Maw will really test your party's coordination with its lasers, tentacles, and army of additional friends. Both Fractals of the Mist and the new island, along with the new PvP map, will remain available after this event. To take part in the Karka invasion, though, you'll need to be ready and in Guild Wars 2 this Friday through Sunday at these times.
Alrighty, you folks ready? It's
Unstable event right in front of you.
Oh no.
watch that first step. It's a doozy.
Nice. That's pretty cool. So that's going to be super interesting.
It's just so much new content, and I love the fact that it's kind of like we're discovering this new area, and because it's new to everyone else as well, we're going to be doing events like helping them build bridges and roads. I think that's really awesome.
Nice. Okay, well, we know that Kaysee has a dinner or breakfast or lunch she has to attend to because it's her husband's birthday. Happy birthday, Stefan! Happy birthday, Stefan! He's not there, but it's okay. You can replay that part. we'll have to make
told
it.
him to watch his
Pardon me?
I was planning to do a shout out. I was like, because normally we have birthday breakfast, and so now it's going to be birthday lunch, so I can do this podcast. So he was being very lovely about it. Thank you, Stefan.
Yay!
If you can hear me.
And it's his birthday. He's so nice. Yeah. So yeah, we should start this podcast.
All right. So, hello everyone, and welcome to episode number 25, the Big 25 episode of the Chronicles of Tyria podcast, Guild Wars 2 podcast for fans, by fans. So, thank you to everybody that's in the chat right now. Thank you to everybody who's come out and viewed us in the past. Everybody that came and helped and donated and viewed Naveen be ridiculous for 24 hours.
You're welcome.
Yesterday.
Yeah, it came out to be 20 hours in the end.
Wow. Oh.
Sorry.
That's okay. I was asleep, so.
Yeah, so was most of everyone. But there's a lot of people that stayed for a long while with me. One included, he's actually in the chat room right now, Robovin. I think he stayed for like 14 hours with me.
Nice.
He's crazy. But thank you for your super support. Yay! And yeah, lots of people donated also for the JDRF, which is the Juvenile Diabetes Research Fund. So thank you very much.
Did you end up raising?
$135.
Nice.
Straight to the cause.
There you go.
Yay! Thank you.
Sorry.
yeah.
My computer's being weird.
No, computer, stop being weird.
I know. Let me scroll down, which is fun. Anyway, so if you guys want to check us out, most of you probably already know at this point, but obviously Twitch TV whenever we're doing live shows, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, chroniclesateria.com,
Cetera.
CoTpodcast.com, yada yada
COT
yada. We don't have a
forums. Join the
Pinterest yet.
guild.
Yeah, I don't think we have a Pinterest yet. So
Yeah, we do. Actually, we do have Pinterest, but the link is on chroniclesateria.com.
Oh.
So,
okay,
but it's
well,
really not
either way,
updated.
go
I
there.
think last time we updated was like 2 months ago. Ooh.
Whatever, it's fine. We have it. Which is
Yeah.
the important part. Now I don't see.
Yeah, I know.
Last I checked, we had 175 subscribers on YouTube. 25 away. Do you guys get to see the big, awesome behind-the-scenes bloopery type episode?
That's
And
crazy
Dean's
because
very
I
excited
haven't.
about that.
Yeah, I haven't even seen it, so.
That's
kinda
not.
scared.
That's I'm waiting until the end. I'm working on some special effects. I told Case the other day. I'm not. I don't video edit. The little bit I've done has been for this guild in like the little videos.
Hmm.
So we'll see how that goes. Thank you, Joel. She can't wait to see it.
Yeah. Me
We
too.
might see
Because I
if,
don't know.
maybe
I don't know what
Case-
that's about.
I'm gonna see if Kaysee. Maybe we'll combine efforts and she'll pull a bunch of the bloopers from COT Weekly and throw them in there. Because trust me, there's a lot.
Hmm.
We have a lot of.
But they're all of me.
Some people can't be perfect all the time.
Hmm.
But I'm not. No, we've had some pretty good bloopers in there of just trying to like do one take and like the same phrase like 8 times before we actually get it.
Yeah.
What was that?
And Joel puts out a good point.
Hmm.
Casey, the dance video
Working
from
on
Halloween.
it. Yes. I'm gonna try and
Oh.
combine all like the guilds together and make it into one awesome video of COT goodness.
That's not Kaysee. Wait.
All right.
Remove.
Huh?
Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties.
Oh,
As usual.
that's fine. We're new to this whole live streaming thing.
Yeah. Sorry about that. There. This is Kaysee. Hi, Kaysee.
Well, that's me and
Yeah.
part of Casey.
Yeah, that's why I was saying. There you go. This is
Alex.
Kaysee.
Weird.
And that was supposed to be Lagwyn, but apparently that's not Lagwyn. So let's change that. Sorry, guys. Seriously. Screen. Let's make it nice. Sing, Kaysee, in the meantime. Swimming, swimming, swimming. All summer long. What's the rest? Swimming, swimming, swimming. Sing! I said sing!
You know what, Naveen? We should try and see if we can just cut it out of a couple of our live shows or the 100 subscriber event, and then just take that little bit and have it like as a sound clip on your desktop for like in between, like when we're screwing up with technical difficulties. Just loop it
Yeah, definitely.
so that just plays in the background.
Yep, that's a very good idea. There you go. Everything's fixed. Yay! Thank you, Naveen, to fix all technical stuff. You're welcome.
Wow, didn't even give us a chance to thank you before you just did it all for us.
That's okay. It's because you never do.
I would have thanked
Aww.
Kidding.
That's so sad.
you. Anyway.
Podcast.
Right.
Yes.
Back to the podcast. So, out of the game, back to the podcast.
Thank you.
Right. So this week's episode is going to be about Ghosts of Ascalon. Heavy spoilers. So if you haven't read the book and you want to read it, just you're going to have to leave. Well, in a little bit, we're going to do shout-outs, and then you can leave.
Yep.
But just as a pre-warning.
But you cannot leave before then.
Yes. Bye, Joel. So basically, we're gonna focus mostly on the characters, and that was primarily because a lot of them are in Guild Wars 2, or there are memorials or things to them in Guild Wars 2.
Hmm.
Also, it's really easy to divvy up what to talk about if we just base it around a character rather than parts of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Little inside secret there. um,
Dun,
but
dun,
we'll
dun.
we'll talk about the plot of the book and the overall story, how it affects Guild Wars 2. We'll also talk about, Naveen, I don't know if you saw that there's, maybe I didn't even share the show notes, probably not. Sounds like something. No, I think I did. So I made up show notes for this like 3 days ago, FYI.
Oh, sorry. No, I totally didn't see that.
Okay. Kaysee, they're there too. I sent them to you, I think, the other day. But anyway, and we'll get, general reviews on the story as well. So I guess we'll start off with shoutouts. Naveen, you want to go first?
Yeah, sorry. I had to quickly turn around and say to my husband, "Shh, I'm trying to do a show here." I was like, "I'm sorry." I'm not making fun of you.
Is that what it sounds like?
No. That'd be really bad. Shout outs. Okay. No one in the iTunes page
Okay.
left any reviews. But I do love the 3 reviews we got. We did get a donation of $5 by Superfast. And so thank you for the COT podcast donation so that we can keep doing what we're doing, and that will try to keep our servers on. Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys want us to keep doing this,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with Naveen footing all the bills.
Yeah, of course.
Let's be honest here. But no, seriously, money helps.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, basically, we got that $5 donation. If you do want to be a sponsor to our show, just head on to CoTpodcast.com and we have a little button there that you can push. I'm not going to explain everything because you people are probably tech savvy and know what that's about. But typically you can be a monthly sponsor or just a one-time sponsor, which is cool with me because that helps too. Thank you. And shout out to everyone again who was here from my 20-hour streaming yesterday, where I couldn't even make sense at all at everything I was saying, and probably tonight I am still tired and not sounding as usual. Looking for my words in English.
Okay.
Struggling.
Fine.
Thank you.
All right. So
I'd like to thank the Academy.
I'm gonna do shoutouts before Kaysee because I came up with the show notes.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I won't
Shout
steal Casey's shout out because I have other ones that are better.
Whatever.
So I'd like to shout out to, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm gonna keep going with Ninja. It's capital N, lowercase NJA. From Yak's Ben server for coming out. He's a big Norn guy. For those of you who know.
I agree. That was totally fun.
It was.
Also, a heads up to all of us who like messaging people on other servers. They totally removed the feature where you go to report somebody and then get their in-game name. That's gone now. You can't see it. You just click report and then that's it. So we can't message them. On the same side, as long with that, Gamma Decay was the thief, short hair, side ponytail, human thief. That's the side ponytail apparently. Side ponytail thief that also helped dance with us, and I guess I'd ask Kaysee when that dance video is coming, but I guess it'll be when it's ready.
Yes.
Also, a few other things. This is just silly, but I was thinking about this. I don't know if anybody's had these right here.
Roll gold. Oh, that's what you were talking about yesterday.
These are no, I was talking about Pringles yesterday. But I don't know if you were there for that. These are the peppermint dipped pretzels. They're shaped like a snowflake.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter, but it's because they're only around for the holiday season.
Yeah.
They taste like a Thin Mint cookie, like a Girl Scout cookie. And I don't like chocolate anymore, but I love these. and it's my replacement for not being able to eat Girl Scout cookies anymore. And this is awful because they're only around for like December. So there's like 4 bags of these upstairs because they just came out like today. So try those. Rolled Gold, peppermint dipped snowflakes, CoTpodcast, brought to you by.
We should totally send them an email
to do this.
Also, because it's probably one of my favorite flavors, Mountain Dew Game Fuel, for those of you who don't know, is back. Only the orange flavor, not the green or the purple from years past. It's for Halo 4, not a Halo fan. Flavor of Mountain Dew, delicious. Also, if anybody's a Halo 4 player and they want my double experience cap codes, let me know. You can have them.
Cool.
And Joel, not overnight really, sometime between my freshman year of college and my junior year of college, something happened and I just don't like the way chocolate tastes anymore. I used to absolutely love it. It was my favorite thing. Now I don't like it anymore.
Oh, that's sad.
And I want to like it because I love Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, and I can never eat them because they don't taste good.
Oh.
Although white chocolate Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Oh, white chocolate's good, Joel. White chocolate Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Had those yesterday. Awesome.
Cool.
So, Kaysee, shout-outs for you.
You just did a shout-out to food.
Yeah, I know, right? This episode brought to you by Tim Hortons. Best coffee ever.
Tim Hortons coffee's pretty good.
I don't really have any food to do shout-outs, but I'll stick with people for this time. So basically my first shout-out, which was, I know that Ted also wanted to do, or Lagwyn wanted to do a shout-out as well to this person, was Kiara. Kiara is like this really super awesome person who joined the guild, and he first recognized me in Lines Arch, and he was like, he watched the last episode where I'm like, I don't have any friends for shout-outs.
No.
He's like, I'll be your friend. I'm like, I love you. And then he sent me, and then my love just exploded. But
he's in the room. Steampunk 15. I'm almost 90% positive is Kiara.
Yeah. So a big shout out to Kiara, who's just been an awesome guildie lately, and I look forward to doing more dungeons with you. So, and thank you for being my friend.
Yay!
That was a very sad
Poor
sentence.
Kaysee makes it sound like she has no friend online. Like she's surrounded with awesome people. By the way, Chronicles of Tyria is just made of awesome people. Just wanted to point that out.
If you need to, I know having no friends apparently is, well, even though that's a total lie, but if you need to comfort yourself, Rolled Gold, peppermint truck pretzels.
She's still getting paid.
Dude, if you have some product placement that I don't know about, at least 10%
it wouldn't have anything to do with
shares.
Chronicles of Tyria. It's just I'm, making money on the side.
Yeah.
So I just need an outlet, and this is the biggest outlet I have.
Oh yeah.
He does it at work as well. His co-mates like, have you tried these chips? These chips are fantastic. You should definitely try these chips.
Oh, jeez.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Look what Zenshu says, Kaysee. The rest of us are chopped. Come on.
Chopped koala.
No. That's not at all. I love you
And
all.
I almost forgot. Robovin. Naveen already shouted out. My best friend who, high five for nobody listening to us when we were trying to be like, Kaysee, Naveen, we're trying to tell you the correct information, and then they just kept going. That's
What was this?
This is yesterday when you guys were doing the dungeon, talking about how you weren't going to be able to barely play in the event because it was today, but it's actually tomorrow. And we're like, tomorrow. Like, there's a whole day in between.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's kind of funny because today, Aaron and I went shopping and we were like, oh crap, it's 2. The event starts in 1 hour. We have to rush home. And when we got home, it's like, oh wait a second.
No.
It's tomorrow. The thing that starts today though is the free trial for the people that don't have Guild Wars. But then tomorrow is the event.
Right.
Sorry. Yeah,
That's
I was
okay.
totally not paying attention to that.
Lack of sleep.
Lack of sleep.
But just another quick ArenaNet update, because it was kind of small, and if you're not a PvPer, so I don't really think it's worth calling out on COT Weekly. They did actually for any of you PvE players that loved Codan, Jonathan Sharp, I believe it is, did a live stream video like a couple hours ago where he just walks through the entire Codan PvP map and shows off all like the cool Codan areas and like the meditation things. And there's a little bit of Codan lore. I mean, he's a PvP guy, but there's stuff in there. Whenever they release the free like custom tournaments, I think that'd be a really cool place to like just go hang out as a guild, because you can just go in and make up your own matches and stuff.
Right.
Anyway, it's worth checking out. It's on their Twitch channel. Probably be on their YouTube later today.
Cool.
Yeah, so I guess with that, time to actually start the real podcast, huh?
Yay! Episode 25, Ghosts of Ascalon! You get a ghost, and you get a ghost, and you get a ghost! Sorry.
That's alright. Quick bit of trivia. It was actually originally going to be called Fall of Ascalon, but they decided that didn't really fit the tone of the book, so they changed it to Ghosts of Ascalon.
Wow.
And for those of you fans who like the lore and book carts, there's actually a book called Ghosts of Ascalon written by Dougal Keane in one of the book carts in Divinity's Reach.
Most amazing writer ever.
So you can find that. I think it's by where the crafting area is in Divinity's Reach. So, alright, so again, spoilers. It's going to start now for anybody who hasn't read Ghosts of Ascalon. Right here.
Yeah!
So, I guess to start us off, I don't know, we should probably talk... Thank you for that, Naveen. Kaysee doesn't have her book, she's left out. She's not part of the book club.
I was planning to bring it, but I left it on my bedside table. I forgot. I was in such a rush.
That's fine.
That's okay.
Shame.
I'd like to point out
I wrote
that
shame.
my page holder is a coaster. Sorry.
I just dog-eared all the pages in mine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess to start, why don't we just talk about, the tone, like just a general overview of the book, where it sits in the time frame of Guild Wars, how, what do you think about the book? Actually, we'll wait, like, how it's written and things, we'll save that for, like, the total end review. But, anybody want to take that, general overview? I guess we could just read the back of the book. That would tell us all of that.
I want to do that.
Alright, you got it, Naveen. Have
Because
at it.
I'm tired, and it's funny when I'm tired. Okay.
It is.
200 years ago, Ascalon burned. Desperate to defend his land from advancing hordes of bestial char. Bestial? Yes.
Yes.
King Adalburn summoned the all-powerful Foefarer to repel the invaders. But magic can be a double-edged sword. This is gonna be long, folks.
Work it.
Sword drop. Whoop, 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 whoop. Full fire burned both char and human alike, while the char corpses smoldered. The slain Ascalonians arose again, transformed by the king's rage, into ghostly protectors and charged with guarding the realm forever. The once mighty kingdom became a haunted shadow of its former glory. Centuries later, the descendants of Ascalon, exiled to the nation of Krita, are besieged on all sides. To save humankind, Queen Jenna seeks to negotiate a treaty with the hated Char. But one obstacle remains. The Char legions won't sign a truce until their most prized possession, the Claw of the Con-er, see episode Char, CoTpodcast.
I think it's a mini-cast too, so both of them.
Yeah, there's a mini-cast too. Is returned from the ruins of fallen Ascalon. Now a mismatched band of adventurers, each plagued by ghosts of their own, ooh, get it? Sets forth into a haunted, war-torn land to retrieve the claw. Without the artifact, there is no hope for peace between human and Char. But the undead king who rules Ascalon won't give it up easily. And not everyone wants peace. Peace out. That's it. And this is a novel by Matt Forbeck and Jeff Grubb. Or Jeffy, because he's Lagwyn's best friend.
Yeah, Jeffy. Right. So I think that's pretty much that cover. I mean, it's good enough to make the back of the book. It's a good enough general overview of it. So I guess with that, let's roll into the characters. And Naveen, how about we start with you, the main protagonist of this whole story, Dougal Keene.
Okay. Before we start, I'd like to ask you, why did you write 250? Did I say something else?
You said 200.
I did?
You said 200, and I laughed because you're like, I might screw it up because it's funny when I'm tired. It's the first word.
I know! 250 years ago, Ascalon burned. And you're like in a chat room, 250, just saying. Says 250 on the back of the book. Lol. And Steampuck says, I want Naveen to record an audiobook for me now.
It's funny that you say that because we never really pursued it because we pretty much know the answer. But we were approached by at least one other person to attempt to get some people in Chronicles of Tyrion sort of manage and do an audiobook of like Ghosts of Ascalon. But we figure it drives away potential sales from ArenaNet, so we'd have to find a way to do it in such a way that won't lower their sales, even though people probably aren't buying the book right now. It's only like $5 now, so it's.
Well, that's why they're buying it so cheap.
I guess that's true. We had thought about maybe doing like once a month, release like a chapter, so maybe people will get like, oh, this is so good, I want to go see what happens, or I want to read along with the voice actor.
I want to read along.
This is how you read along. We already decided that even though Kaysee, I guess, you know what, if we didn't monetize it, I don't know.
Yeah, if we don't monetize it, it should be okay, but it would still be considered like a product placement. So
we can still try. She's been called out from the beginning to be Colleen, even though she probably didn't know that. But
no, I know.
So you're
apparently my accent is weird enough to be a Sylvari.
It's not weird. It's just fitting.
It's the fittingest that we have. And we'd find see if we can get Bridger, somebody to be a Char. Actually, it's a female Char, so never mind.
Yeah, that's true.
Ascalon.
What's up with that?
Naveen, you can be Ember.
Thank you. No. Thank you. No, I wouldn't be able. That's Amber. But she's too young. Wait, who's it? Almora Soulkeeper, maybe?
Yeah.
She's got a major case of
the game.
furball in her throat. Okay, sorry. I'll stop.
You're licking yourself too much.
Do you Char do that? With one leg up and go like with stuff. How do they groom their fur?
What's her face? The Norn from the beginning. I think you could pull that off pretty well.
Oh yeah, but she dies. That's not cool. Oh wait, spoiler. Too late.
I'm done. Come out.
Sorry.
I mean, there's other incidental. You can be the Hylic dude too if you want. Waddle or whatever his name is.
Tequaddle? Is his name Tequaddle for real?
No, it's Naguaddle. It's like Nagualt. Like I posted it. I think it's like that.
Naguaddle. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They all sound like. Anyway, Dougal Keene.
Yeah. So let me get my little document here. Because I have a PDF in front of me.
Nice.
So, Dougal Keene. And I'm also covering Rhyona Grady, and if you don't mind, I'll talk about her in the same piece.
Okay, I guess that's
I
all.
do mind.
But first, I need a juice. So if you want to talk about something else.
I don't think I have anything else I can product place.
Oh, okay.
My-
This episode brought to you by Oasis. 100% juice.
Adventure Time fans, Marceline and the Scream Queens comic book, pretty great if you're a fan of Adventure Time. I would go out and read it.
I didn't even know they had comic books.
There's actually an Adventure Time comic series, and this is just like a 6-part mini-series about Marceline and the Scream Queens. This is before like the events of Adventure Time. It's when her and Princess Bubblegum have a band with a few other people, and they go on like they tour all over the place when they're friends. It's a good time. Also, there's a Fiona and Cake
these names.
miniseries apparently. So, if you ever want to know what time it is, and the time is Adventure Time, go ahead and pick up that comic.
Good segue. You want to know what time it is? It's Adventure Time. What time is it? It's Adventure Time.
Seriously, have you not watched the show? Because that's what time it almost always is.
I don't think we have it in Australia.
Lagwyn just gave up on life. Sorry.
I'm done. I had to find papers so I could throw them in the air.
Nice.
Hmm.
Alright.
So, Dougal Keane.
Dougal Keane and Rhyona Grady. Okay. Quite possibly the coolest character in any of the Guild Wars novels. Dougal Keane plays a big role in Tyrion history. Not super huge role, just a big role. He's a human who was born in Divinity's Reach. Lagwyn, why are you making that face? You're so funny. Okay.
I know.
But yeah.
Baby, I know.
Whoa. Okay.
Too much Futurama.
Good luck
for
getting
me.
to lunch on time.
Yeah, I know. Okay, let's do this. Sorry. Cooler than Logan? Steampunk?
Yeah. Come on. Naveen. Cooler was the question, not dreamier. Cooler. Dougal Keane, infinitely cooler than Logan.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Furball. Getting into the role. Okay.
There you go.
So, he's a human. He was born in Divinity's Reach around the time of the Sylvari's first appearance into the world. And when he was a kid, he moved to Ebonhawk and served in the Ebon Vanguard. He left a few years later with his unit, and he was believed dead by the Vanguard. He, along with his unit, traveled from Lion's Arch to Ascalon City, where they were all killed by the ghost, well, except for Dougal. He escaped Ascalon City and made his way to the Derman Priory, whom he worked for shortly, and left because of a disagreement about their book lending policy. Which is kind of weird. Why would you leave something because of that? Anyways. Dude, I can't bring that book home? Psh, going back to war. Okay. Later, he was hired by an Asura named Clag, and this is how the book, Ghosts of Ascalon, really starts. He was in a crew which included Killeen to help disarm traps and recover the Golem's Eye from the crypts below Divinity's Reach, which, by the way, I would love to visit. Somehow you get. When they got out of there, they were arrested by Seraph guards, but was later released by Rhyona Grady on Almor Soulkeeper's and Queen Jenna's orders. Or Queen Jenna's orders. Recruited by the Vigil to aid finding the Claw of the Connor from Ascalon City, he was accompanied by Killeen, Rhyona, Amber Doomforge, Gullig Odson, and Cranks, who later on join their party, and we're all gonna cover these characters today. Now, let's switch to Ryona, and I'll be able to talk about their adventure while you know who they are. Ryona was a crusader in the Vigil. She was human as well. She once served the Ebon Vanguard and Ebon Hawk, and in the same unit as Dougal. While searching for treasure, Ryona was left behind, and she was detained and questioned for treason. Later, she was sent to a work camp for a crime, and after a sentence, she left Ebon Vanguard. She left Ebon Hawk. Where's my beer? She left Ebon Vanguard and joined the Vigil. There we go. And she was hoping for guidance. She was ordered to search for Dougal, and this must have been an itch, and she had orders to convince him to help Ember in retrieving the claw of the Con-er. After many dangers untold and hardships unnumbered. Any Labyrinth fan would know what I'm talking about right now. They retrieved the claw of the Con-er, but Ryona betrayed everyone and stole the item. She stole it to make the Flame Legion stronger again, in order to ignite the old civil war among the Char. She only did this hoping the Ascalonians could gain the upper hand in their own war with the Char. But, sucks to be her, she was killed by Dougal! Dun dun dun! With a sword to the chest. Before she was able to accomplish her plans, she fell into a pit to her death, and that was that. Through the book, you clearly see that Ryona and she has feelings for Dougal, and while you think the feeling is mutual, Duggar later reveals Dougal. Oh my god, Duggar King! Dougal later reveals in the book that his true love actually died. And here's a little reading of the book explaining what happened in Ascalon, while Dougal was in Ryona's Ebon Hawk Vanguard unit. Before I do that, I would like to drink some water because my mouth is pretty dry. Yeah! Casey's just laughing. Because I'm going to read a little bit. It's going to take about like 5 minutes, you know.
Hey!
That's how it finishes? Hey! If anyone has the book and would want to read with me, that's awesome. You can follow. I'll leave the window like that so that my face isn't like full in your screen.
They might want a page number.
Page 268. Ghosts of Ascalon. Read by Sylvester the Calf. Okay. Serious, Naveen. 268. Where did I start? Okay. This was, by the way, they were all together and they were just sitting there and talking about each other's feelings or whatever, I don't know. But they were all together and they were talking. And this is what happens. Dougal pondered this for a moment and looked at the others. Ember nodded in agreement with Ryona. Gullick was looking at him blankly, waiting. Even Cranks had stopped chewing and sat there expectantly. He'd put this off as long as he could. Dougal took a deep breath. I have not spoken of this before. The legend of my surviving Ascalon City grew up over time, and while I've done nothing to stop it, and hey, lag! No, that's not in the book. Do you want to do Dougal's voice?
No, you're an expert.
Man, that would have been cool. Hey, Kaysee, do you want to? No, okay. Hey, sweetie, do you want? No, okay.
Douglas
Never
not
mind.
camping. Aaron can't.
Douglas not camping. Good one.
I'm giggling in the background. That's awesome.
Dan's in the chat room saying, "Great, you ruined the book for
Dan,
me."
if you logged in when everybody else is, you would have gotten the spoiler alert from the beginning.
Here, let me edit. Ghost of As. Oh. Ghost of Ascalon. Spoiler show. So that everyone who logs onto the page will see that it's a spoiler show. So, there you go. You're welcome, Dan. Okay, I'll start over. I'm so sorry. I've not spoken of this before. The legend of my surviving Ascalon city grew up over time, and while I've done nothing to stop it, and even have profited from it, and please correct me if I'm wrong with my pronunciation. Profited, thank you, sweetie. From it, I've never told anyone what happened there. So please bear with me, because this is one story that I cannot make myself the hero of. Gullick opened his mouth to say something, but Amber silenced him with a jabbed elbow to the rib. Dougal continued. You know, Ryona and I were in the same unit at Ebonhawk. One of our friends, Dak, had found the old map in some library in Ebonhawk. It showed the old city itself, where the towers and reception chambers were, and most importantly, the royal treasury. We all memorized this map in case it was lost. You think the claw is in the royal treasury? Said Ember. Is that a good char voice?
Better than the one from before.
Oh, thanks. I do, said Dougal, and stopped there, not elaborating. He was thinking of what had happened next, and at last decided to skip over the part where they chose to desert and left Brianna behind to take the blame. Finally, he said, Dak and I and some others thought we would become treasure hunters and left Ebonhawk for Lion's Arch. He looked at Ryona and she nodded. She was not going to bring up the matter here in front of everyone. We collected as much information as we could find on Ascalon City and then set off from Lion's Arch. Dak, Jervis, Marga, Vala, and myself. We were all close friends and hired a group of locals for added support. The adventurers from Lion's Arch thought we were just going to see what we could pick up from Ascalon City. We didn't mention that royal treasury. We left Lion's Arch, crossed over the Shiver Peaks, and came down into Ascalon, where we spent most of our time trying to dodge Char Patrol. They were very effective, and we lost most of our associates before we even reached Ascalon City. He let his voice trail off, the images of the past rushing up to meet him. What happened then? Asked Ryona. Sorry, Lag. Dougal tried to swallow, but his throat was dry. He pulled out a water skin and took a quick swig from it. The water didn't seem to help. And someone is very confused in the chat room.
I guess we're gonna call him Ninja again. That's the Norn from last night.
Hey, Norn from last night. We were talking about you before. Sorry. Today we're talking about Ghosts of Ascalon, and I'm just reading a book page, excerpt. Thanks, sweetie. Of what happened between him and Ryona. So, sorry if you're confused, but you were awesome yesterday in World vs. World. That was great. We'll come back to it. What happened, Dougal? He looked at Ryona. If anyone deserved to hear about this, it was her. She had the right to know what had happened to their lost friends. He had to be honest with her. He forgot the others were there and spoke solely to her. It was awful. By the time we reached the city's wall, only one of Lion's Arch group was left, a woman named Cautive, an elementalist. We should have turned back, but we decided that we hadn't come that far to go home, so we pressed on into Ascalon City. That's when it all went indescribably bad. Really bad. We hadn't been inside the walls for more than 15 minutes when Kotiv lost her mind. She'd been a fragile thing to start with, and after seeing so many of her friends die on the way to Ascalon City, knowing that we were in a place infested with ghosts pushed her over the edge. When she saw the remainings of all the bodies littering the streets, she started wailing, and no one could get her to stop. We all stood there, in a square in the haunted city, yelling at her to stop and squabbling with each other. Dak finally hit her, just once. She toppled over and smacked her head on the cobblestones. We tried to wake her up, but she never did. Any of us might have done it. There we were, racing into a city filled with angry ghosts, and she was honestly loud enough to wake the dead. We didn't have... Oh. You didn't have any potions? Asked Cranks. That's my sewer voice. No magic to heal her? Douglas shook his head. Maybe if we'd had more time, but the trouble wasn't that Dak had killed Kotiv, it was that he'd silenced her too late. As Vala knelt down to try to help Kotiv, the first ghost appeared. There were probably a dozen of them. They looked much like they must have in life. They wore the old Ascalon uniforms, and they carried sword, but they were colorless, so much that you could see right through them. By the way, let's do a parenthesis here. Hey, the Wicked Witch! Dan, come on! That's an Asura, it's not a Wicked Witch. This book was written before the game came into beta or whatever, that we all know. But there's so many things in that book that, you know, if you read the book before you played the game is instantly like, oh my god, I read about this, oh my god, I read about it. And the description that Dougal makes about the ghosts in Ascalon City is just, it's crazy. And, well, it's not crazy, but I mean, it's really descriptive, and when you get into game of it. Anyways, I was like, oh, when I got it.
Are you kidding me? I was terrified to go into Ascalon City after reading this book. They're like, the ghosts are the scariest thing in the world. You can never kill them at all. They'll murder your friends, and you'll have nightmares, and people will go crazy and lose their mind.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, there's a ghost. Ghost is dead. On to the next one.
Yeah, I know.
But there's definitely a feeling that there's lots of them there, and it's quite easy to get swarmed in the Ascalon City area.
Mhm. Yeah, that's true. But I do get what you mean, Lagwyn, and I'm totally I agree 100% with you. But what I'm saying is just that once you read the book and you have those images in your head and you get there and you see them, it's like, it's crazy. Anyways, that's just the geek in me loving the show. Okay. When they saw us, they froze, stunned. Sorry. They just couldn't believe we were there. Then they attacked. As they came at us, they wailed even worse than Kotiv had. They were mad in every sense of the word. They had no words for their anger, but they expressed it in noise and steel. You remember the ghost of the shepherd and his apprentice? When you see a ghost, how insubstantial it looks, you wonder how such a thing could hurt you. Can a mist harm you? It seems ridiculous. But when the first ghost struck, he ran Dak straight through, and that sword of his was solid enough to bring blood up into Dak's mouth. Jervis started casting spells, but there were just too many of them. They actually picked him up, and Marga as well, and carried them away. I'll never forget their screams. They went on forever. Dougal felt his throat tighten. After a moment, he continued. Vala gave up on trying to help Kotiv and turned her attention to Dak. I left her with him while I tried to rescue Jervis and Marga. I followed their screams. By the time I caught up with Jervis and Marga, the ghosts had taken them to the main square. The place was filled with scores of ghosts, an entire army of them, and there, up on the battlements of the palace, loomed the ghost of King Adalburn, shouting at his dead soldiers. I climbed up the side of a building so I could get a better look. Margot was already dead, her body pulled apart and being tossed about like a rag doll by the spirits. The ghosts were pulling pieces off of Jervis at joint at a time. I had a bow with me, and my first arrow caught him in the chest, which only hurt him more than alerted the ghost that I was there. I fired the second while they turned to charge at me, and the third finally caught Jervis in the throat and put an end to him. "You killed Jervis?" Ryona spoke so softly that Dougal could barely hear her. He thought about pretending that he hadn't, but then nodded. It was the best thing, the only thing, I could do for him. He closed his eyes and tried to banish the look on Jervis's face when the final arrow hit home. It had been a look of gratitude. "Bear's blood!" Guess what that is? Is that in the syrup?
Norn? Norn voice.
Yeah. "Bear's blood," said Gullick, sullen but insistent. "Don't stop there, man! What happened to the others?" I raced back to where I'd left Dak and Vala, but when I got there, all I found was Dak, dead in a pool of blood. "What about the woman?" asked Ember. Dougal hadn't been sure that Char was listening. I never found her. I looked, but I heard her screaming for me once, screaming for me to run, but it was cut off. I tried to keep looking, but the ghosts found me, and the pursuit began." Cranks shook his head in disbelief. "So there you were, alone and caught between a legion of Char and an army of angry ghosts. What did you do?" "I did what I had to do. I left. I fled. Like a dog in the night, I ran from Ascalon City and made my way back to Lion's Arch. We had told some people where we were, and when I turned up alone, the story started, and a lot of people wanted to hire me, since I had survived the city of ghosts. But I never realized I had failed, and those I cared about had paid for that failure." Dougal put his head in his hands and discovered that his face was wet with tears. "Ah! He's a sensible man!" He had no idea how long they had been there. Sorry, Lagwyn. I'm gonna give him a headache. Ryona put a hand on Dougal's arm, and he did not have it in him to brush it away. "I know," she said. "I'm sorry they're gone as well. They were our companions, our patrol, our teammates." "They were more than that," said Dougal. "There's something else I have to tell you." He stressed the last word, and he looked at Ryona and fished out the locket around his neck. "Something I should have said before." Dougal opened the locket and sighed as if he hoped he might finally get rid of his last breath. "Vala," he said, looking at the cameo. "Sweet, beautiful, wonderful Vala. What about her?" We were married right before we left Lion's Arch." Dun dun dun! "Vala was my wife." Oh wait, Dougal said, his words falling like a hammer blows. "Vala was my wife."
His words dropping like epic bass.
Yeah. "Vala's my wife." Okay.
Totally immersion breaking.
Yeah, I know. What? They don't have dubstep in Ascalon? Anyways. He looked up to see Ryona scowling at him. Her eyes burned with anger and grief and in the dying night of the setting sun. For a moment, Dougal was sure she was going to strike him, and he wished she would. But she didn't. Rather, she stood up and stalked off, grabbing her traveling cloak and wrapped it tightly around her. She settled in the doorway of the ruined house, her back to the rest of the group.
Dun dun dun!
So, you can see now that Ryona might have changed her plans to grab the claw, but that revelation from Dougal only turned the blade in an old wound, or if you could say, put some oil on the fire. She cared for him so much more than he thought she did, but she was a crazy bee, so who cares?
Agreed, but again, I go back to what I said about, was it Dak? Not Dak. Whoever it was, getting their flesh ripped off
Mm.
piece by piece.
Yeah. Tossed like
That's
a rag doll.
horrific.
Like, that doesn't happen. Like, that's why I was like, oh my god, Guild Wars is going to be part survival horror. It's going to be like Silent Hill plus Guild Wars when we go to Ascalon City. It's going to be great. I'm so scared. And then I get there and I'm like, there's Char, cubs running around. Let's run away from the ghosts.
Mm.
No, they should be ripping your fur off and skin off piece by piece, and you should be like terrified to leave your home. No, they're like, haha,
It's still a
protect
PG
us.
game.
Let's keep our not scared meter on the top left corner up or whatever.
Not scared meter.
I forget what the hell it says. I don't know. I hate that stupid event.
There's a not scared meter event?
It's like you follow the Char cubs and you have to keep their
Oh. Ow.
I forget what the hell.
Fear
they're
meter.
called. Yeah.
Meter. Mm. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've done that, but I don't remember seeing a meter. Excuse me.
I think it's interesting though, because it like shows that there's such a darker side to this game that like you can use your imagination to imagine how dark it is in the game. They can't really rip bodies apart on a PG game, so I mean there was kind of a limit to how scary the ghost could be in the game.
Right. Yeah.
It's disappointing though.
Well, it's disappointing if you read the book first and then you get to play the game. If you play the game first and then you get to read the book, it's completely different, I think. It's like, whoa, okay, that was supposed to be that bad? That's crazy. I'm glad it isn't.
I would enjoy it if it was.
Mm.
Yeah, Stan, I agree 100%. But yeah, it's, I don't know. I mean, a lot of us read the book first because it came out, was it 3 years before the game?
Yeah, I think so. Wait. 2010, ArenaNet, all rights reserved. Was it only 2010?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, sure,
So 2 years ago? Still though.
Yeah, I think so.
Dan says that's why you don't read.
Bah.
Well, to be fair, we knew about the engineer class and the thief class
And the
before
mesmer.
everybody else did.
Yeah.
And the mesmer from reading this book.
Which was the last to be revealed. But everyone knew
Yeah.
it was going to be that.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, it's just like I said, I would be okay if ArenaNet wanted to like on the side release like the M-rated version of Guild Wars.
Mhm.
So it's like for all of you that wanted the game to be all that we wrote about, I'll just talk to Jeffy. He'll make it happen.
Jeffy. Yeah. Steampunk 15 in the chat room says, I got murdered my first time in AC, so did a lot of people. I agree with you 100%. The thing is, though, AC is not, the Ascalonian catacombs, but it's not Ascalon City itself. When you go visit Ascalon City in, the Charlands, it's, I don't know. It's
Surrounded by the beautiful plains of Ashford that's all green and rolling hills.
Yeah. Oh, let me frolic in the grass. But yeah.
We better get going on this podcast thing, so have at it, Naveen.
Yeah. Have at it, what?
Or are you done? Is that it?
Yeah, I'm done. Basically, that's who, you learn about these characters in the book. That's basically the story that's
Revealed?
Revealed, basically at the end of the book. Dougal is... Could he be a thief? Could we say a thief?
Yeah, he is. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
because it
Well, I'm
wasn't
certain
really set in stone that he was a thief, but because he couldn't be an engineer. No, let's say a thief.
Oh, Cranks was an engineer.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh, you're totally right. Okay, so Dougal
He
was a
has
thief.
potions and elixirs. Yes. Because he was picking locks, sneaking around, disarming traps.
Right, and
Like that.
Rhinoa was more of a warrior or guardian type of person. I wouldn't say guardian though, because she doesn't have those blue casting type
I
spells and
think
healing.
her and Ember were both warriors.
I think Ember was a thief.
Yeah.
Because Ember used a pistol. I'm going to talk about it later, but
Oh.
Okay. Well,
Ember slides into the darkness a lot, and she uses like
maybe
pistols,
she was
which
a
are.
thief too then.
Mm.
All right. Well, when you talk about Ember, we'll do that then.
Yeah. But basically, yeah, Dougal is one of the NPCs I saw in, aside from Logan, because that's basically the first person you see in your human story that you can relate to from the book. But when I got to, because he's in Fort Mariner in Lion's Arch, and when I got there and saw him and I saw Dougal Keen, I'm like, oh my god, 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 guys, oh my god, guess who I'm seeing right now? And then Hanavri was
True.
like, what? And I was like, Dougal Keen. This is Dougal Keen. I'm right next to Dougal Keen. He's like, oh, no way. I was like, yes way. And yeah, anyways.
I was back in the betas.
Back in the betas. Yeah, I was playing in Asira too. But that's basically it. Like, Dougal he's a funny, kind of sarcastic kind of person, but he's really witty. And, but he's willing to protect, everyone as long his view on teamwork and stuff, and I think he explains at the beginning when he is with his crew that he doesn't want to get close to anyone because he doesn't want to get attached, so that if ever they're in battle and stuff, if they get in trouble, he's not, sentimental about it and just like go, oh no, I will save you, and die because of it. So that's the type of person that he is, and Rhinoa is just a bee.
Yeah.
That's what she is.
So
She's got a lot of reason to be a bee.
Yeah. But she's, she you get the feeling that she's super emotional, super emo type of person in the book, and she's always like, but she always has a frown on her face. She never laughs. She never smiles. Really.
She got betrayed really badly, and she had to go and do hard labor and considered a traitor.
Yeah. Yeah. Naveen, that's like if all of us meet you for the first time. We're like, all right, Naveen, we're going to go do this. It's going to be so much fun. Meet us here. And then we, like, commit some crazy giant act of robbery and, like, treason against, I don't know, let's make it Canada. And then, we do all this stuff, and then we're like, all right, peace out, Naveen. Have fun dealing with all this and going to jail and doing all the hard labor. We're going to go on an adventure. Later.
Yes. But she has to realize that she didn't die because they left her there. Dougal's pretty much the only person who came out of there alive. So she could have been torn into pieces and stuff, and at least be thankful for that. I don't know, it might be the Canadian in me that's, oh, thanks, you're such a jerk, but at least I'm not dead.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
I don't think so.
Ah, damn, rest of the world.
Well, you know what? What if she got there? What if she was that one extra person that they needed, and they all got out alive because she was there?
I don't know.
I mean, that's probably how she's rationalizing that herself.
But then she would have turned crazy because she would have been like, oh, you and Vala got married? Let me kill all of you because I'm crazy like that. Stab everyone.
But that wouldn't have happened because she would have been with them in Lion's Arch when they got married. They left her and Evan. Come on, Naveen. Come on.
I'm trying to... Yeah, I just left Dougal.
I'm inclined to think that Dougal was kind of the asshole in that situation, and Rihanna was his crimes catching up with him.
Okay.
I've just lost a friend. Oh.
No.
I'm joking.
No. I'm kidding.
No,
senor, no.
I like that voice better.
But anyway, yeah, so I guess before we move on to Colleen, assuming Naveen's got nothing else, but...
No, senor, no. I don't have anything else.
So I just like to say that the whole reason that this book is even happening, really, is because the start of the book, like we said, Clag hires Dougal because he's good with traps, and disarming traps, and getting out of places where most people would die, i.e. Ascalon City. To steal the golem's eye from the crypts underneath the Divinity's Reach. And that's actually, the golem's eye was created, it's in Blim's tomb, Blim from Guild Wars 1. I think it's in Guild Wars 1, like 90% sure. I just don't feel like looking it up right now.
Me neither.
So Jal, if you're there, you can tell me. But no, and that's the whole part of that, and he's got his party is him, Colleen, who Kaysee will introduce, and then this other Norn whose name is Gitta, and I don't know, it's odd.
Gulick?
No, it's Gitta.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not there yet.
The first female, female at first.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes, Blim from Radasum Guild Wars 1. Thank you, Tigress. So yeah, and then get a odds dotir, daughter, whatever. You guys know what I mean.
Oddsdatir.
Yeah, sure. What Naveen said. So that's, I don't believe there. And then Clag himself. That's the party that goes in to try to steal the golem's eye. And then, you know, pretty much they don't. Well, they do, but then they don't. You know what? I'll let Kaysee talk about Colleen, and we'll go on from there, because Colleen plays a large part in that.
Okay.
Sure.
Okie dokie.
What I'm saying.
Alright, so I'll start talking about Colleen. So I'm just going to get a link for everyone. And I'm going to put it into the chat, because I'm cool like that.
Copy, paste, power!
Hopefully that works. So basically, Colleen is the Sylvari of the story. She's, I'll kind of read it off the sheet. She's basically a Sylvari female necromancer. And she was kind of like the first formal introduction to Sylvari that we really got, because at the point I think Sylvari were really kind of still mysterious, and we didn't have any information on Kaith or any kind of notable Sylvari. So she was kind of like our, what's a Sylvari about? Oh, we'll show you through Colleen. So she became like this stereotypical Sylvari. She's like sincere, naive, completely oblivious, and in my mind she's kind of like the most likable character. I've heard a lot more people say that they like Colleen more than any other character.
I agree.
Yep.
Definitely more than Cave.
Oh god. Cave.
The psychopath.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All things have a right to grow. Kill that traitor!
So people were having trouble with reading along.
Your thing didn't, it like posted Dropbox, so you can click it and it takes you to Dropbox, and that's it. The actual link didn't work, and if you copy and paste, it doesn't work either.
If you can always upload to Google Documents.
Yeah, we have the public Google Doc.
Try it one more time. If it doesn't work, I'll just leave it till afterwards, because it might take a little bit too much time. Paste. That's the exact same one. If that doesn't work, then
I don't think that's gonna work.
Copy. Yeah.
Did you get all that? Good. All right, we're continuing.
Nope. Error 404. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I'll read it off the sheet, and then I'll put it up later for everyone. So yes, she's kind of really socially awkward. Hang on, just cleaning this up. She's really socially awkward, and she has kind of like this pure and childlike desire to do good. And in the end, spoilers, she dies. She selfishly sacrifices herself to compensate for the flaws of others. So I think she willingly knew that someone else had a flaw, but she'd rather give her own life to compensate, so they didn't pay the price for it. So she's like a really lovely, kind of all-round great character. And I think she's a really good representation of what most Sylvari are like. And I've got a little description here. Dougal describes her as shorter than a human, but not as diminutive as an Azura. Her skin was a verdant green. Her hair moved more similar to the leaves of a succulent plant than that of a human woman. When she moved, golden pollen drifted from her. Colleen had all the traits attributed to her race. She was honest, direct, and focused. In many ways, she was better than most humans he knew. So that's what Dougal had to say about her.
Dougie Fresh.
Dougie Fresh.
Dougie Fresh. That's Dougal's new name.
I'm going to call him Dougie now.
Doug.
Mr.
Keen.
Anyway.
And
That's the
like
Doug
she
song.
kind of okay. Take your word on that.
Really? Come on. Somebody, Americans in the chat, Doug theme song, come on. Somebody has to have my back on this. Or even Canadians that may have seen it.
I think the crickets were required there.
No. You'll see. Dan will get my back, for sure.
Oh,
Joel's
no,
from
Joel's
Canada.
not.
I don't know who this guy is. Thank you, Tigress. You count enough for that. Yeah. Alright.
Oh. Alright, I'm scared to continue because if Dan says something, Ted's gonna be like, jump on it. Like, yeah, see, I'm not crazy.
Sorry, Tigress. You count immensely. More than enough for having my back. Because you're awesome.
Yeah.
And a fellow guardian. So.
Anyways, Khalid.
Ling. So, like, she does a lot of things that people think are dumb. Like, one part is when they get captured by the Seraph and he's taken in for questioning. He kind of, like, just assumes that she told them everything, and which she did. But she's got, like, this really cunning side. She's a lot smarter than people give her credit for. And what she does is they eventually, in the catacombs, they find the eye and they manage to get it. But when they come out, the Seraph catch them. So so Dougie hides the golem's eye.
Seraph led by Logan.
Seraph led by Logan. He hides the eye, and when they tell him all the stuff, he just assumes that he's lost the eye for good. But she's like, no, I moved it. I told him where it was, but I moved it to a different spot. So, like, in the end, they managed to get the eye back. So, she lacks knowledge, but she's actually quite intelligent, and she shows remarkable foresight in that situation. As a typical Savari, she lacks the knowledge of social customs. She's fascinated by death, which perhaps compelled her to be a necromancer, and her obsession with death puts her off, and puts other people off. Sorry. One of my favorite lines that she says to Dougie was, she's staring at him, and like it's really weird staring. He's like, "What's your problem? Why are you staring at me?" And she's like, "I was just wondering what your bones would look like. You'd make an excellent undead servant." Like,
Awkward.
what do you say to that? Like, thanks,
Thanks lady.
Hope it never comes to that.
Yeah.
And her attitude towards death is often seen as offensive at times, but she's very sincere and she really regrets offending other people. For example, I've got an example would be page 197 when she's in the Ebonhawk sewers and some people come and attack them. They kill them. It's very sad because Dougie and Riona kind of know them in a way, and she actually, like, they're kind of mourning in a way. He's kicking away the rats because he doesn't want their bodies to be defiled, and then she raises them as an undead corpse. And everyone just kind of like freaks out, like, "Oh my god, what are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh crap, sorry, didn't mean to hurt you." So she's very nice and lovely. She's just not insensitive because she is sensitive, but she just doesn't know the rules, the social customs. And she was very keen to visit Ascalon and to be one of the first Sylvari to set foot in the haunted ruins. But she died at the Dragon Brand at the hands of the Dragon's Champion. What happened was Gullick, being a Norn, kind of went, "Oh my god, this big monster! Rah, I'm going to kill it, and this will be my story. Remember me." What?
You make that's actually a good impression of a Norn. That's what a Norn would do.
Not bad.
Yeah. Rah!
Why do I feel like that was said in pity?
No.
So basically, he's like, he goes, he goes berserk, basically, and he runs in to kill this thing, but it's clear to see to everyone that he's gonna die. And to Norn, that's not such a bad thing, you know. Dying is better to live and fortune tales. Like,
I am Kaysee the robot.
Robo Kaysee 3000.
Kaysee?
Naveen?
Kaysee? I can hear you.
Naveen, can you hear me?
Yes. No, it's just that you're cutting off like really bad and you sound like a robot.
I've
Sorry.
noticed it on your guys sometimes. I can't quite hear what you guys are saying, but are we good now?
Yay! We're good.
Alright, so basically he rushes into battle. Everyone can see that he's gonna die. I want to speak really fast so that we don't get the robot again. And everyone can see he's gonna die, and everyone else is kind of like, well, he's a Norn, you know, it sucks that he's gonna die, but he chose this as his fate, you know, that's the social custom, is that he's a Norn, this is his decision, this is just what's going to happen. But Colleen, I don't know whether she knew and she decided to go against it, or she didn't know that this is what Norn is and come to terms with it, but she just decided, no, I'm not going to let my friend die today, and she decided to rush into battle and help him. And so in the end, she sacrifices her life. She casts a spell on him that lets him kind of regenerate health in a way, you know, suck the enemy's life force. But the price was for saving his life, she died. And I think it's interesting. I don't know whether she just didn't know the social customs or she just felt she needed to sacrifice her life, but basically her diving in causes everyone else to kind of be pulled into the fight as well. First, Dougie kind of goes, he really likes Colleen as a person, so he runs in to save her, and then the rest of the group is like, well, without Dougie, we can't really continue going forward, so we'll go and save him. So that's basically the end of her story. Everyone's really sad and they say nice things about her, and I think Gullick, even now, has a lot of regret. He feels bad that she rushed in to save him. And, you know, I think Ted first found his grave. I actually used his picture on here.
Dun dun dun.
It's really hard to see, but that's Gullick at Colin's grave.
Yeah, I guess once we have the PDF document, we'll be able to post it.
You'll see them, but basically, Gullick goes and visits her grave all the time, and he prays for her and stuff like that. So he still feels a lot of regret. And you can actually go to her grave, which is on the book describes it as the grave is on the northern side of the Dragon Neck Brands, beneath a cairn. I don't know that word. Cairn of rough stones. And if you visit her grave, it's a skill point in the secluded glen in the Field of Ruins. And that's basically about Colleen. There's a little bit of trivia. Colleen is an ancient Irish surname meaning bright-headed.
Which is totally her personality.
It's odd because the Silvari born of the night are very... they like to be by themselves. They travel by themselves. They're very kind of secluded people. But I don't feel like Colleen was very secluded. She was very bright. And, you know, Gullick makes a thing, he says, she was a Silvari of the night, but she was the brightest spark in my eyes, or something to that effect.
Aww.
So, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is Colleen.
Yay!
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, like we said, they're pretty much, and I noticed this, I just kind of came to the realization today that all of the other races all of the races really in this book are the most stereotypical version of their race. Gulick is the stereotypical Norn. Colleen is the stereotypical Sylvari. Cranks is the stereotypical Asura. Because this was, like we said, our first introduction to a lot of them. This is actually written before they made the update to the Sylvari, when they were kind of elfy and not like tree people like they are now. So there's that. Just to throw that out there. But anyway, Colleen was a necro, like Kaysee said. I didn't like. Again, this is one of those instances the book's written before where she would created skeleton minions from the dead bodies of her foes, and as we all know, 1, minions look absolutely nothing like a human skeleton, and 2, you don't need skeletons to make minions.
Right.
Also, if known, when she was about to die, she should have just popped Death Shroud, and then she could have ran away.
Yeah.
But she didn't have it because that didn't exist in the game yet. So, yeah. So anyway, I'm going to talk about Gulick, Oddson, a.k.a. one of the greatest Norn heroes, apparently, so says the book. Also, but first, got to talk about his cousin, because without his cousin, he would not even be in the book. His cousin's name is Gitta Oddsdottir.
Oddsdottir.
Sure, Naveen's going to say that every time. So we're introduced to her at the beginning of the book. She's hired by Clag, like I said, to join Dougie Fresh's party to steal a golem eye. She wields a hammer. We believe she's a warrior. She's got one of those crazy Norn warrior braids. Let's see if I have the text. Dougal describes her as a bully.
A bully?
Yes. Here we
I
go.
was a bully.
Gitta's grandsires were refugees as well, fleeing from the north, fleeing from the power of the great elder dragons to the north. The Norn were a healthy, hardy, proud people, quick to anger and equally quick to forgive. In his time since leaving Ebonhawk, Dougal had met good Norn and bad Norn. The good ones treated every day as an adventure, every problem as a challenge, and every foe as a chance for personal glory. Most people didn't understand how dangerous the dark places of the world could be. The Norn actually relished exploring them. Gitta, though, was definitely in the latter category of Norn, boastful, judgmental, and unpleasant to those around her. She was both bullying and insulting, as if any achievement by others diminished her own. Dougal didn't like it when she smiled, either. So, that's a little bit about Gitta. Like I said, her totem animal is a snow leopard. She turns into that at one point. Also, heads up, when Claire comes home, my dogs are going to go nuts. So, just bear with me. And there goes one. And there we go.
Great timing.
Nice.
Oh.
Hey, Mom. Hi, Mom. How was your day? How was your day, Mom? Look at me. I haven't changed. You've been gone 5 minutes. 5 minutes is not long. No, I've been gone the whole
Guys,
day.
can you not?
Oh, I'm so happy to see you.
Thank you.
Squirrel on your lawn.
So anyway, basically, in Blim's tomb, they steal a golem eye, which activates this golem guardian, which is a giant tomb guardian made of all the bones. It makes this giant, like, snake-type creature. And it's attacking them, and they, like, destroy it once, and then it reforms, and it's continually reforming. So, being a Norn, she's like, this is my story, and she just starts wailing on it with her hammer, and she tells everybody else, you get out of here, I'll hold it off. And she's just wailing on it. But I remember Dougal, I don't have the exact line, but he said something about for the first time he saw fear in her eyes, like right as she was gonna die. So not your typical Norn. And then, thank you, Claire. Brought to you by McDonald's as well.
Oh my gosh, we're rich.
I know. I've been promoting food on the podcast.
And McDonald's, I mean, that's a pretty big. I mean, they sponsor athletes, for God's sakes. I don't know why, but
official restaurant of the Olympics.
Still, oh my gosh.
Anyway,
that's pretty old.
So she sacrifices herself to allow Clag, Dougal, and Colleen to escape. But the fact that neither Dougal nor Colleen told the tale of her fate, Xander, stop it.
I want your hamburger.
And her glorious death in battle, led Gulick to hunt down Dougal in Lion's Arch and attempt to murder him. Because, as you know, if you don't know, you can see Chronicles of Tyria episode number 4, Norn War with Bridger. The Norn, they're not worried about dying, or even dying alone. They're worried about when they die being completely forgotten, and that to them is a fate worse than death. Because if you die, chances are, because you're a Norn, it's going to be in battle. You want people to tell your tale of your death in battle and how great and glorious it was. So because Dougal didn't say anything and tell that tale, Gulick was like, you're going to die. Also, he was really drunk, so that probably didn't help the situation.
Yeah.
And he broke his way into the Vigil headquarters. The Vigil, you know, a bunch of people that their whole purpose is to just fight things off with physical means. They're going to fight the dragons hand-to-hand combat. And he's like, nope, I'm coming in. Where's this guy who talk about my cousin? I'm going to kill him.
But it's funny because he sneaked into Dougal's room and he hid in his room behind the door.
Yep.
And he's a freaking 9-foot tall Norn.
And he goes...
How high are the rooms?
The roof is high enough for a Norn.
Yes. Yes, it is. So he basically
Get me
tries
out
to
of
kill
here!
Dougal, and I think Riona's there helping, or maybe Ember's there too. And then Colleen's like, wait! He's a friend! Don't kill him. I like him.
Oh.
And then they're like, wait, what? And then like he passes out drunk on top of Dougal, and they're like, oh my god, he's gonna choke me, get him off me. And that's how we are introduced to Gulick in the first place.
Yeah.
Jumping back to Gitta real quick, I don't know if you guys have seen it in Holbrook, in Shelter's Rock. It's the graveyard in the northern part of Holbrook. There's a cairn stone in her commemoration, and the inscription says, "For Gitta Oddsdatir. Your body was lost in the crypts below Divinity's reach, but your spirit fights on in the mists."
Aww.
Check that out.
Cool.
So to Gulick, he's famous apparently across all of Tyria. With, like I said, wields a dual-bladed axe. And why is he famous? Well, it's said that he single-handedly defeated a score of destroyers near Dredgehaunt Cliffs. He killed a mad Grawl with his bare hands as a child, and stormed the schooner, the Watery Gravestone, killed its captain, and terrorized the Sea of Sorrows after taking command. So, basically, like, got a badass over here.
Whoa.
But we don't really know much to him before this little introduction, other than he's just off being total badass wherever he goes. But we do know that he knew Colleen prior. Obviously, she said he's a friend, and he apparently met her in the Caledon Forest after he got injured while hunting cats near the ruins for their hides. And I'm trying to think of cats in the Caledon Forest. I don't believe there are any.
No.
I could be wrong. Chat room? Anybody?
Isn't there stalkers there?
What?
Are there? I'm being completely honest, I don't remember.
That's why there are none. I love it.
He hunted them all. Yeah, oh, there you go. Cassandra makes a point. That's why there are none. He hunted them all.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
again,
Jolinar makes a point. I'm sorry, Jolinar makes a point. She says, I think there are stalkers. Not sure, though. I think there are stalkers, too. Maybe that's what he calls cats?
yeah, maybe. I mean, it's Gulick.
Yeah.
Wolf's teeth, there are cats and they've hurt me. Protect me, young tree folk.
Exactly.
But anyway, so in the Vigil headquarters, he tries to kill Gulick. Doesn't work, obviously, because he passes out. Next day, he sobers up, and then he convinces the Vigil to let him join. So then he joins the Vigil and joins Dougal because Dougal tells the story of how Gitta died in battle.
Mm.
And then they're like, "Oh, great, you're my friend now because I'm a Norn and I'm stereotypical. We had great food for breakfast. I'm no longer drunk, and you apologized about my cousin. We're best friends now. Let's go kill
I just
some."
tried to murder you 24 hours prior.
That and like no hard feelings though. Like I was drunk. Seriously, dude. Like we're cool. And like Kaysee said, he travels to Colleen's grave to pay his respects, and if you talk to him, it'll trigger some dialogue, and you can ask a few different things. And at the end, it'll say like, he'll say, "Do you think we should pay?" Or you say, "Should we pay our respects?" And he says, "I think she'd like that." And then he kneels, and then eventually he just walks away and then disappears. According to the wiki, he appears in multiple places around Tyria. I don't know where else he would show up.
Really?
It says, and I quote, "Gullick currently travels Tyria. One possible location to find him is in the Fields of Ruin at Colleen's grave." I don't know if he does go any other places, but that's where I've seen him.
Because
it took about hours though.
yeah. Well, there's the thing also, you said that you waited and then you tried to follow him
Uh huh.
and he just kind of disappears.
He walks into a rock. And just
Are you okay? My husband kind of walked into the lamp. No one heard that. No one saw that either, right?
saw the
Bathrobe. Sorry.
Oh.
He's Asian, but no ninja skills. You ninja'd out of it?
It's Chinese, though, right? Ninjas are Japanese.
Yeah, ninjas are Japanese. That's right.
He's fine.
I'm not. They're originally Chinese. Sorry about that.
What?
They're originally Chinese.
They were originally Chinese.
But they're not anymore because all the Japanese ninjas killed all the Chinese ninjas.
Yeah, but then you got the kamikazes and anyways, podcast.
We're not talking about flying planes. We're talking about ninjas. But
Yeah,
anyway.
I'm not talking about my husband walking into a lamp.
So anyway.
Podcast.
So he, he, like Kaysee also said about Colleen, he sees a dragon champion, he's like, "This is gonna be great. I'll tell my story after I'm dead." And he just runs at it. But then he actually is pretty sad, and he's like quiet for a long point after that, after Colleen dies, because she was like a friend and was all full of life and, inquisitive and silly Sylvari, and he loved that.
Mm.
So, it's just sad. Colleen's death it's actually, I don't know, more moving than Snaff's, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I was legitimate. I was like, no. I was like, they can't. She's the only Sylvari. She can't be dead.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, but, no.
Aw. It's because she was such a lovable character, that's why.
Joss Whedon must have freaking written this book on the side. Nobody knew.
Donna.
Made sense.
Or R.R. Martin. Killing every character left and right. Anyways.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I mentioned this before, but I kneeled in front of Colleen's gravesite, where you didn't have to have Gullick show up. He just shows up. But I sat there, kneeled for 2 hours. And other players just kept running up next to me and kneeling and not knowing what was going on. And they're just like, they'd sit next to me for 5 minutes. I wouldn't move. And then they'd jump up and down like on my character's body and then like leave because they were all confused, like thought something was going to happen if you stayed kneeled. And there goes the stream. And then it's back. Kind of. This is Naveen.
Naveen's not.
Anyway. So, Gullick is a badass. He's what all Norn should strive to be, if you're going to try to be a stereotypical Norn. It's cool if you're in the Fields of Ruin and you can see him. I recommend it. I would definitely recommend swinging by the graveyard to check out Gitta's gravestone, because that's pretty cool, and it's a lot easier. You don't have to wait for hours. Yes, you're right, Tigris. Ninja Naveen disappeared on us. All right, so I guess next, it was going to be Naveen talking about Riona, but she did that, so I'll talk about Cranks. Again, Cranks is the Asura of the group. Asura engineer, all about potions and tonics and things like that. And again, super stereotypical Asura. I mean, he's just all about how things work, and I don't remember what college that would be, and I'm sorry, I haven't played enough of my Asura to know.
Synergetics.
Probably. But he is extremely gifted at
Synergetics.
working with Asura gates, because he helped rework the Asura gate to get them out of Ebonhawk. Because they all had went back to his lab, which was in Ebonhawk, if I remember correctly. And they used the Asura gate to sneak out.
Yep.
Yeah, and they used that to sneak into Ebonhawk from Lion's Arch.
Yes.
Yeah, so, but as we know, there isn't one that takes you from Lion's Arch to Ebonhawk. The only one is from Divinity's Reach. But, you know, that was one of his, like, one big claim that he did. And he did mention, actually, at one point, because he eventually gets the Golem Eye, because Duhul gives it to him, and he says, like, you know, who do you think I am, Golemancer Snaff? And I was like, who's Snaff? Because, you know, you don't know when you read this first, when they came out.
Right.
And then you're reading Destiny, and you're like, oh, wait, and then if you look at the timeline right in the front, it says, you know, that this whole book takes place, let's see, Divinity's Reach, Jormag Rises, 1320 AE, Kralkatorrik Awakens, creation of the Dragon Brand, breaking of Destiny's Edge, founding of the Vigil, 1320 AE. 1324, Dougal enters the crypts below Divinity's Reach. So 4 years after the breaking of Destiny's Edge. Sorry, so back to Cranks. Honestly, I don't have that much on Cranks. I didn't really like him. He was just kind of there to be convenient when they needed an Asura.
And they killed him just as conveniently, didn't they?
Yeah, basically, like I had told you guys earlier with the temple or the Guardian, Crypt Guardian. Basically, he unlocks in staring and working with the golems how to make it work and how to make it, you know, make a giant guardian. And he figures out how to control it. So he takes all of the dead bodies, which are, as we know, there's hundreds of thousands of dead bodies in Ascalon City, and makes this giant, like, snake of bones, and just has it all attack King Adelburn, and it just, like, blows up, and he dies. But I didn't care, because I was already heartbroken because Colleen's dead, and I was like, why did you just kill him? Pissed me off. I forgot, we actually thought Gulick was dead at this point, because he threw, Cranks threw an elixir at him to try to heal him, I believe. And it blew him up, and he was just gone. And they're like, he's like, oh my god, I meant to heal him. And he just died, but like apparently it gave him wings, and he like shot up in the air and was flying.
Red Bull gives you wings. This episode brought to you by Red Bull.
And then, you know, Gulick comes back down later.
Yeah.
But we thought he was dead, and I was like, oh, so everybody's gonna die. Because Colleen's dead, Gulick blew up, this dude just killed himself. And as Naveen said, Riona gets stabbed by... So I was like, oh, so now we're down to a human and a char. Well, they're gonna kill each other, because why not? Sorry.
Yeah.
Colleen's death really broke your heart, huh?
No, I was legitimately moved by that. And then again, I'm like, well, she wasn't even a firstborn or a secondborn. And I was like, when I meet firstborn in Guild Wars 2, I'm going to be blown away by how awesome they are.
Yeah.
Cave. Friggin'...
Traherne is cool. He's okay.
If he died, you would be sad. It's just because he didn't die that you're not sad.
Would not be
Yeah,
sad.
exactly. That's true. Traherne died. I saw it coming. All this there was.
I would have made a bonfire out of Traherne and roasted marshmallows and danced on his ashes when he burned out.
Wow, that escalated quickly.
My hamburger in disgust.
I think he's too hungry to discuss this. Anger rises within Lagwyn when he's hungry.
Fury rising.
Fury rising. Oh my gosh.
Simplicity.
These roses have thorns, and here they are.
Oh, that's the bad one. Safari have the worst sayings, hands down.
Oh, definitely.
I get it now.
Element of air, hear me.
Oh, jeez.
Pet, I choose you.
Does she really say that?
Mm.
Oh,
All
no.
creatures say that, but the Savari say it overly exaggerated.
Oh.
Yeah. More violets, less violence.
Oh. More violets, I say. That's violets. Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's almost as bad as, I pray to the spirits of the wild, though they rarely answer.
Oh yeah, I know, right?
Then why do you pray to them? The humans fit that, really. They at least have things that I can deal with. I can listen to, like, fine wine, I keep getting better. Over and over and over again. Or, I can outrun a centaur. You know, those are all good ones.
I'm awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, one I saw recently was when I was changing into exotic gear,
Mhm.
and instead of saying like, sweet, sweet loot, she was like, all mine, mine, and I was like, whoa.
What's your like your personality beat? You know, the bar where there's like charm, dignity, ferocity.
Oh, does that? She's
It will
very.
affect some of them,
She's very ferocious. I don't know.
and that might be it. Because I know those do affect the sayings that you have, depending on where they are.
No. Oh, so you found a use for those stupid things.
Yeah, you'll get occasional dialogue uses, and depending on what that is, you might get different like sayings for your character. I don't know how many there are, but that would make sense if she's very ferocious and it's all mine.
Yeah. Mine, all mine.
I don't know what other male, humans say, but I know I have mine's like dignity all the way up,
Mhm.
and every time I get something, he's just like, nice gear.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know, I'll ask you guys, do you guys have anything else on Cranks? He really showed up to do his, like, to fill the Asura roles we had in Asura in the story.
Mhm.
Oh, I can use potions and be over-analytical and, like, very grating and sarcastic.
Mhm.
And then, well, you don't need me anymore, so I'm gonna blow up. Like, that was pretty much Cranks in my mind.
And no one mourned his death. They were like, oh yeah, they were sad. And then at the end, they're happy again. Like,
Yeah. I do
Except
have an
for-
explanation for that. I think that it was part of the inquest. Because when they get to him, he brings them into his lab, and he's talking about how he's gonna make like fur coats out of the char, that out of amber that's with him, and he's making experiments and stuff.
But
and
he said that he had to do that as they were his prisoners, remember, to get a char through Ebonhawk.
Mhm.
And he was like, oh, she's my prisoner, I'm going to make a fur coat of her, so that people wouldn't be like, why are you bringing a char in Ebonhawk? Because
Yeah.
they're like, oh, he's an Asura. We'll back off because he's probably going to do experiments. I
Yeah.
think we know that Clag was in the inquest, the Asura from the beginning,
Mhm.
because he attacked them, like, again later on when they're in Ebonhawk, alerted the guards and stuff.
Mhm.
So I think it's pretty much accepted that Clag is in the inquest. But I think Cranks was legitimately like a good guy. He just they needed a way to get a char through Ebonhawk without them getting massacred by separatists.
Hmm.
Which
It's
never
just weird because
character into Ebonhawk in the game.
yeah, I just found it's
Anyway.
weird because he had cages for experiments in his lab already and stuff. So I don't know.
but
Soldier might
his
have, but-
actions don't really reflect that, because when Dougie shows him the eye, his reaction isn't that of money, not money growing, like item, the Azura will just take what they want. and go. But there's a point made that he looks at it, hands it back, doesn't say anything more. Dougie checks his pocket the next day, it's still there. And when Dougie hands it to him saying you can hold on to it for a while, he actually acts like a child. He's like, oh, really, can I? And his ears apparently do some cute little thing. And
maybe it's like the One Ring though, and like he doesn't want it, but he's like Galadriel and Dougal is Frodo. Like, I'll give it to you if you want it, and like he's like, no, I'll stay in the West and remain Galadriel. And then the next day he's like, no, take it. And he's like, all right, cool. That's how that is.
I'm so sorry about that. I don't know.
You want Lord of the Rings?
Not really. Sorry.
Don't open that can of worms.
Yeah, I'm not even. You're lucky I'm hungry. Otherwise, this podcast would go for 3 hours and we'd have a long
But
debate.
Kaysee has to go.
I have to go.
Ahead, it's Ember time.
Ember
Ember
time.
time. So Ember Doomforge is like the, I said the same before, stereotypical Char, filling stereotypical role of a Char. Except one thing I like about her is that she's female, because it would be so easy to put a male Char in the stereotypical role. But because she was female, we got to learn a lot about the female's place in the Char society and their past. But I will get into that later. So her name is Crusader Ember Doomforge of the Vigil. And she's a Char, she's female, she's a thief, which is kind of, it's never stated in the game, but the way she fights is kind of elucidates what she is. She uses a pistol. She's described as going into the shadows a lot. She has dark clothes, and she's of the Ash Legion. So she's definitely a thief, though she is described as a warrior at one point. And what I've got is Ember is a strong and proud Char who has a very deep cultural identity. She knows Ascalon very well and understands a lot of the Char social customs and culture. I just thought I'd put that in because she really knows it really well. Like, I don't think I even know my culture as well as she knows the Char culture. You know, all the things that she has to do. And it's possible, like, if she works for the Vigil, doesn't mean that she's in Ascalon all the time. So she obviously grew up there. She's very in the Char culture. She acts as the group's guide and sometimes leader through Ascalon, because a lot of the times when Dougie kind of, you know, loses confidence or something bad goes on, she becomes a leader. And when they're walking through Ascalon, she's always, especially in the Dragon Brand, she's always the first one to take the first step, or she starts running first and the people follow her. So she kind of like is the makeshift leader when Dougie kind of fails. And Dougie's description of her is a powerful and I think it's lithe. Yeah, I'm going to say lithe. A powerful and lithe female Char standing at the threshold, younger than the general, but no less impressive. She towered over Dougal, and the tips of her short horns rushed against the door's lintel. Who uses these words? Door's lintel.
Jinx.
If he ever sees that, he's like, yeah, well, who's the published author?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, doors lintel, and as she entered, her black lips were drawn back over a full set of vicious, gleaming white teeth and fangs, as if she was in a perpetual snarl. Her heavy yellow eyes scanned the room, assessing everyone and everything in it, as a threat, and then dismissing them beneath her notice. Where exposed, her amber fur bore black stripes on it, as like those of a tiger. Which is interesting, because I haven't seen a tiger in game. Although, what was that?
She's in game.
No, but I haven't seen a tiger in game, so I wonder how Dougie knows what a tiger looks like. Like that of a tiger. Although a tuft of snowiest white poked from beneath the collar of her armor, right above the hollow of her throat. The armor that covered most of her fur moved as silently as she did, oiled for stealth as well as combat. She bore no weapons in her hands, but she did not need one. She had had her talons extended, each of which looked as sharp and as long as a dagger. So that kind of also elucidates that she's kind of more stealth than combat, and she's probably a thief. and she wears medium armor in game. She's General Amora's soulkeeper, so the general of the Vigil. She's her granddaughter, and she seems, and like the general is a really strong female as well, and she's a strong female. So I think that she has a strong line of females. A line of strong females, and she seems to identify strongly with Kala Schrödinger.
Scorch Razor.
Scorch Razor.
There we go.
Fire Bishop.
She would not wear the shackles that represented the bondage of female chars endured in the past. And she really hated that so much that she threatened to resign from the Vigil rather than endure the humiliation of the shackles. And there's a bit of a standoff between her and Almora, and so they're both really strong female characters, which I really like. She is stubborn and proud and really displays her grief or any other emotional turmoil other than anger. She has a strong hatred for humans. Even after befriending Dougie and Riona, she still somewhat enjoys seeing them bound as prisoners. However, she reveals that she believes that the peace between humans and Char is essential to defeating the dragon. So, at the end, when, because she actually is the one that I believe that kind of saved Dougie, because if she hadn't have come out, Riona wouldn't have let him come back up again. So she comes and kind of distracts Riona, and then Dougie is able to escape and come up, and then eventually Dougie slays Riona. So she kind of, and at the end they share a tender moment. I think Gullet calls it tender lies. So them two are kind of friends at the end. And at the end of Ghosts of Ascalon, she supposedly fulfills her mission to retrieve the core of Kaur for the You guys say it 20 minutes before and I still cannot get it.
The Kan-ur?
Is that it?
Kan-ur.
There we go.
Yeah.
Core of Kan-ur.
Sorry.
Kan-ur.
Yeah.
Visual and can be found in the fields of ruin. So I really like her. She's kind of she's with Colleen in my mind as one of my favorite characters because she's really strong. She's not emotionally wrecked like a lot of the other characters are. She doesn't really have her own problems other than not liking humans. And she's just generally a really strong character that doesn't really take any gruff from anyone else, and even though times are tough, she doesn't fall apart or anything, so she's really cool, I reckon.
Yeah. Alright, so I guess we should also mention that the whole mission, the reason they're going to Ascalon City in the first place, is to retrieve the Claw of the Kan-ur because what's her name? Scorch Razor. Kala Scorch Razor from the Vigil wants to have Almora Soulkeeper, rather. Yes,
Kala Scorch Razor was 100 years ago or so.
Yeah, that's Pyre's grandsire.
Yeah.
Right. So Almora Soulkeeper wants to get the Claw of the Kan-ur, give it to Queen Jenna, to have Queen Jenna give it to Smoter the Unflinching, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
To create sort of a treaty. Yeah, a treaty between the Char and the humans to stop the war, to bring a peace between them.
Right. So we probably should have started with that at the beginning, that was the whole reason for this book.
Didn't I say that? Wait.
It's on the back. It's on the blurb, I'm pretty sure.
Ah, you probably did then.
The Char Legions won't sign a truce until their most prized possession, the Claw of the Kan-ur, is returned from the ruins of fallen Ascalon.
There you go.
Okay.
Good job, Naveen.
Thanks.
Right. So that's pretty much the book. I mean, there's a few other story bits that you would have probably missed out on, but nothing too integral. So,
no, I mean, you wouldn't want to explain all of Ghosts of Ascalon, because you still want to read the book, because it is a good book. It's a very easy read, so even if you don't read, a lot, or, what? My husband asked one of those crazy questions again. What if I'm illiterate? Well, then you just don't read. You ask me to read it for you, then it makes it even more entertaining.
Yeah, that's love.
No, I won't read it for you. Can I please do the podcast? Thank you. What was I saying? Yes, it's a easy read. It's a very good book, and in my opinion, is much better than Edge of Destiny.
Absolutely.
Just because they explain so much about the lore of the game, and it's not so much of I don't know, aspects about the game mechanics or anything. It's really about the lore and the Char and the Asura and their stories and what happened. And if you haven't played Guild Wars 1, there's a lot of explanations about Guild Wars 1 in there as well. So
I'm kind of, like Tigress says, I'm looking forward to the last book because I feel like they've covered so much lore in the previous books. Like, before it was painful sometimes because they go, I'm Savari and I'm from this tree and everyone is born in cycles, and it's just explaining everything about the Savari, which I don't know if a real Savari would do because every one of them has to explain their own situation, and you get this whole taking turns of explaining my culture. And I'm hoping in the last book that they've past that and they can actually get to some really good lore, like lore about things that we don't really know quite ourselves, that haven't been explored quite thoroughly before, and it's not going to be such an obvious, they're all sitting around the table and just sharing their stories one by one.
Yeah, I agree. Risosby needs to get on that.
The thing I don't really like, though, is that, all three books are written by all three different people. So it's a totally different writing style every time. So I'm kind of curious of, how that's going to be. But, I still have high hopes.
Well, if you look at them, they're all quite different books, and it's kind of okay that they're written by different people. It's not going to be as obvious as if it was the same characters being written by different people. It's because it's different characters. It's not as such a obvious change, but the writing style is a lot different.
Cassandra in the chat room says, "Isn't the final author tied into Guild Wars already?" Yes.
It's Risosby. She's one of the two lore.
Yeah.
Gurus.
And you make a good point. She might just make it the most awesome book just because of that. It is really Risosby, so.
Yeah, that's why I like the first book is written by. It's written by Matt Forbeck and Jeff Grubb, but it still has Jeff Grubb, who's one of the other lore expert.
Yeah, Jeffrey.
But I forget. I think it's something Smith, Matt Smith, something Smith.
Matt Forbeck.
Who wrote?
No.
Who wrote Edge of Destiny? He's
J.
not
Robert King.
Wow, totally off. But yeah. But either way, he's not like the other two people. All they do is write lore for Guild Wars, and he's just like another dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's it about Ghost of Ascalon. Did the chat room have any question for us? No, I won't sign any autographs.
We should have like a music that we play when we're waiting for people to have questions in the chat room, because there's a bit of a lag between when we say it and otherwise.
Yeah.
You could go back and play the Doug theme song, or what Dan says is the COT theme song.
Here's the COT theme song. The uploader is not make this video available in your country.
Really? That's a thing?
Yeah. Of course, you being in the United States would know about that.
You're right.
Yeah, I can watch it.
Something about Canadians, apparently. They don't like nice people.
Canada. I'm pretty sure in Europe as well, they don't let you play certain songs.
I know it's, what's it, Germany. Tully always has problems with a lot of this stuff, I think.
Yeah. Oh, Max.
Yeah, Max
because
too.
Tully's in the Netherlands.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, maybe I meant Max. Either way.
So anyways, no questions.
Okay. So, again, thank you everybody for coming out and supporting us through our 25 episodes. I was thinking to myself today, maybe we should do something fun for 50.
Yeah.
You know?
That's far away,
Always.
but still.
But I mean, you know, it's like a milestone. Like our 50th show extravaganza.
Extravaganza.
I don't know what we'll do, but...
Steampunk15 asks, does the book explain what full fire is? Sorry, noob. No, you're not a noob. It's fine. No. Wait.
Nope.
No. Only in
Not-
Edge of
That was what the
Destiny.
faux fire was.
Yeah. But if you want a real good explanation of it, you really have to read Edge of Destiny instead.
Right. They explain how it happens. Like, the faux fire, that whole event happening. And if you want to know what that is, we can explain that. We've explained it before, so I'm not afraid of spoilers. This is a spoiler show.
Go ahead, Lag.
But I'm not going to do unless he asks, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
But what faux fire physically is in the blue flames, we don't know. Unless you guys know. Maybe you have an in.
I'm sorry?
Aaron, I see you in your bathrobe back there. Do you know what the faux fire is? Can you tell us?
Aaron can't hear you, so... Lag wants to know if you know what the faux fire is.
Faux fire?
Eh?
Isn't that fire that
That's a faux?
burned in or whatever that burned all the peoples?
They burnt all the peoples?
Burned all the peoples?
Okay, so here's my husband's explanation about the faux fire. That's the fire that burnt all the peoples. Wrong. That's wrong. Nope. Sorry.
Anyway, Kiara,
He plays
it's-
Guild Wars 2 very well, though.
It's the fire that the King Adalbern attack does in Ascalonian catacombs at the end. He does it, and we have to stay out of the red circle, otherwise we...
Yeah, okay, the
It's
faux fire,
faux fire.
stay out of the red circles, that's what he says.
Anyway, Kiara, it basically what happened was there's discrepancies, but it's pretty, it explains it pretty much in depth at the end of this book because different people have different explanations if you're on the human side or the Char side, what it is. The humans say that the previous Con-Ur came in and King Adalbern's magic fiery dragon sword Magdare clashed with the claw of the Con-Ur and it exploded and created the faux fire, killing all the Char in the area and then turning all the humans to ghosts so they could forever protect Ascalon. In the book, though, you find out more through some of the ghosts that still have their mind that were killed prior to faux fire, the one like Butler dude. Whose
The
name
butler dude?
You know
The
what I'm talking
royal courtier, I think you'll find.
I'm sorry. Take it away, Kaysee. Go ahead.
The butler dude. Would you like some tea, sir?
Even in the book, he's like, "You're the king's servant." He's like, "I have you know, it's a royal courtier."
Oh,
Go ahead,
there you go.
explain. You've got it under control here. Go ahead, explain the rest.
All right then. Fine. So, basically what happens is the king starts to lose his mind, especially after his son dies, and he he kind of goes a little bit nuts, and when he sees people running away, or the Char break down the walls, the Ascalonians are running for their lives, trying to retreat. He gets really angry, and his butler kind of he says he tries to stop him from harming the people, and what he does is he gets a knife in his chest. The king stabs him, and he's just left to bleed on the floor. And the Char say that the Char tried to come in and assassinate the king, not knowing any of this was happening, and they come into the king's chambers and they find this dude on the floor, and then he says that he told his story to the Char, and that's how the Char story is that the king kind of went a little bit crazy. He went up to, I think it's the tower, he went up to the highest spot in the tower, and he smashed his blade, causing the faux fire. And the what's his sword called again? The
Magdeer.
Magdeer is actually a relic from Or, and the king always knew it held powers of Or, and finally he decided to unleash it. And I don't really know if King Adalbern knew that was what was going to happen to everyone, or he was just crazy. But
Yeah.
he broke the sword and unleashed the faux fire, and the faux fire ripped people's souls from their body, or the spirits from their body. And their bodies died, and they became these mindless ghosts, consumed by hatred and controlled by, I guess, King Adelburn.
Yeah, and the only other piece that is the legend goes that if you reunite Rurik's sword, which was another fiery dragon sword relic from Sahathan, if you take that and reunite it with Magdir, King Adelburn's blade, it will stop all the ghosts forever. So that's the whole story behind why Air is going into the Ascalonian catacombs for Ascalonian story mode, because she wants to get the sword and reunite it with Ritlock's sword, and then maybe he'll join Destiny's Edge again and fight the dragons, because she's selfish, but also wants to get rid of all the ghosts.
I don't know if she knew about that story though, because she just says that she wants it to heal old wounds. She doesn't say anything about reuniting the two swords.
That's true. Yeah, so she's just selfish and doesn't want everybody to be mad at her.
I feel like she's like definitely the mother of the group. She's like, I just want everyone to be happy. I want my children to get along again, and I don't want my children to hate me even though I made mistakes. And she's definitely the old lady.
In my days, dragons were not a thing to fear. Anyways.
Yeah.
So, Kiara, I hope we explained that alright for you.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess with that, gonna wrap this up.
Yep.
So, next week, we're still, you're gonna have to bear with us because we're still trying to figure out what's going on. Naveen's gonna be on vacation. Our normal day is American Thanksgiving. So I don't know if we're gonna be doing a show. It's still kind of up in the air. Maybe Kaysee and I, and maybe we'll grab somebody else. Maybe we just won't do it at all.
But
you'll have to wait and see. It's a surprise.
Surprise!
Surprise! It's not happening. That's the worst surprise ever.
Yeah.
It's still a surprise.
Yeah, I'll be uploading old episodes to the iTunes for the people who've been asking for, the first episodes to hit iTunes so that they can listen to it on the way to work or at work, because apparently a lot of people do that.
And hopefully Naveen's Halloween song will make a guest appearance.
Yes! Yes, I'll remember that. Sorry.
Yeah. So, alright, well, thank you again, everyone who came out, everyone in the chat room, everyone who's going to be listening to this on iTunes or watching it on YouTube later on. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
If you have anything you want to talk to us about for any reason whatsoever, you can be reached at hosts plural at chroniclesoftyria.com. That will go to all three of us, so we'll all see that. Yeah, I guess, so for Chronicles of Tyria podcast, episode number 25, I'm Lagwyn.
I'm Kaysee.
And I'm Naveen.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
That's double stay class Tyria.
That was my gun noise.
Nice.
So for those in guild, we'll see you in the game.
Yep.
And Kaysee, say happy birthday to Stefan for us. Have a good
happy birthday,
lunchtime.
Stefan. Yeah, we'll have a
Happy
good
birthday,
lunchtime.
Stefan.
Hopefully I'll see you guys all during the event in Lion's Arch. I will be on for that.
Yes. This episode brought to you by Mountain Dew, the orange cap. If you need a code,
Remember,
ask Lagwyn.
Ask me.
Mountain
Also,
Dew.
I can give you a hint on how to get lots of double XP very fast as long as you have a camera phone.
XP?
Yes. This is for, they did it for Call of Duty last year. This year it's for Halo. Each cap gives you 15 minutes of double experience.
Yeah.
There's a way to get 3 hours or 90 minutes very quickly.
Oh.
Most people figured it out.
Ah.
It's kind of trolling, so I don't want to announce it live on the show, but people want to email me.
Trolling.
They see me trolling. They hate it.
Okay. This episode brought to you by President's Choice Natural
Water.
Spring Water.
And
This
the
episode.
Incredible Hulk.
This episode brought to you by Cute Terminator.
This episode brought to you by Rock Band. If you haven't played, play. I don't know why I have my Rock Band mic. I guess it was USB, so I was like, maybe it'd make a good mic, but I've never tried it. So it's just like on my desk.
Brought to you by SteelSeries, the official peripheral company of ArenaNet and Guild Wars 2.
Yep. Brought to you by us. That's it.
Brought to you by Clefairy. Clefairy. Oh, this is Cleffa. Cleffa.
Yeah, it's Cleffa.
Oh my gosh.
Brought to you by... What else can I find on my room?
Brought to you by this blue pen.
Pokemon Black 2. I should play this more than I do, but I'm too busy playing Guild Wars.
I love Pokemon.
Brought to you by Apple. For
Brought to you by
reals.
Fire.
Brought to you by Prada.
Wow, Prada glasses, fancy over there.
Yep.
Brought to you by Generation 3 Die Rotor.
What?
All you paintball fans.
What is this? Yeah, I'll be... Okay, my husband wants me online, so...
Go, 'cause I have a Honor the Waves drop.
I have to go as well.
Honor the waves, okay, bye! Catch you guys
By
next time.
Jal and Joel, but mostly Joel.